Oh, D Hop is off to a good start. 7 points already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
D Hop got 4 catches for 30 yards already.
let's go.
Let's get that tutty, D Hop. Welcome to the Triple Coverage Podcast, powered by the Suplex Dinner Club. We are here tonight. It's Monday night. We want to welcome you guys back in. I am one of the three hosts, Brad, and I'm going to pass the ball off to.
What's up? What's up? It is Eric. I don't have a fun New England Patriots one thing this week, but you know what though? I reserve the right to change my mind at any given time, and Drake May might have been a good draft pick.
Well, we're going to talk about that as we're going to get into how the Patriots played. We're also going to talk about some returns, some key returns for fantasy football, some key injuries for fantasy football as well. Listen, what is this? The end of week 8, right?
Yes,
End of
sir.
end of week
Week
8.
nine.
Week
Week
9, end of week 9.
Yeah.
So it is a monumental time in fantasy football because guess what? Playoff seeding is gonna start taking shapes, and whatever platform you play on, your team name is gonna have that asterisk next to it saying you are or aren't in the playoffs. Right now, I am 4-3-1 in my big money league, so I'm looking good. Again, I'm down 26 going into tonight. I have D Hop playing Kansas City defense, Butker, and I have Nick Bolton as my individual defensive player. And I believe because guess what? Last week, I was down. Excuse me, I was up, and he had George Pickens. I had T.J. Watt, and guess what? T.J. Watt went out there and had the best game of the season last week, and he actually outscored George Pickens. So I did get the win. So Eric, tell me where you're at fantasy wise, what the record is looking like, and then we're gonna get into our New England Patriots.
Boy, I am 7-1, tied for first place. Uh, this I when I say I tinkered with my team this week, I made two huge trades that I
Talk
feel like
about
we
it.
need to talk about.
Let's get into it.
Um, I essentially traded away every single wide receiver that I have, minus Devontae Smith. Let me pull these trades up real quick. Let's look at them.
Let's get it. And you guys tap in the comments. Let us know. Did Eric win? Did Eric get fleeced? How do you feel about the trade? Let's get your previous lineup pre-trade and then your post-trade lineup.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I will go ahead and say I got the best player out of both trades. Um, so I feel like that's a little bit of a dub. Um, so what we were looking like last week before the trade is my quarterback was Tua slash Geno Smith slash Baker Mayfield slash Bryce Young. um, Bryce just kind of sits on the bench for me like a good little boy. But the Tua slash Geno slash Baker, I play that based on matchups. I played Geno this week, which I like. Geno almost got me 30 points, even with 3 interceptions.
Nice.
Um, and Tua didn't do great, even though he only had 3 incompletions. I think he only threw for 1 touchdown, and Baker ain't got nobody to throw to, so there's no point in starting him. So that's quarterback, and then my wide receivers were Devontae Smith, Keon Coleman, Demario Douglas, Jacoby Myers. Running backs were Josh Jacobs, Kareem Hunt, Ramondre Stevenson, and Brian Robinson Jr. in my flex. And then my tight end was Brock Bowers, with Jamison Williams, John Mechie, and Zamir White all on the bench. A.D. Mitchell, Sterling Shepard, and I have Godwin and Pacheco hurt. So, trade number 1 came about. I received Jalen Tolbert, DeAndre Hopkins, Mark Andrews, and Chase Young. This is an IDP league, and I needed a defensive end this week who Chase shit the bed, so it was what it was. In return, I gave up Brian Robinson Jr., John Mechie, and Jacoby Myers. Now, I traded B Rob, and in return, I got in the second trade, I traded Jamison Williams and Keon Coleman and a 2026 first round rookie draft for Bijan Robinson. So
Okay,
I popped one
great,
B Rob out and popped another one right back in.
great. That's great. The wide receiver landscape right now, it's not really taking shape as far as like who's clear and concise top 10. Weekly it's somebody else producing, but for you to land a home run like Bijan Robinson, we seen him last night against the Cowboys, well yesterday afternoon against the Cowboys. He's clearly the starter of the offense. There's no play action without him. He's Kirk Cousins safety blanket. And guys are getting open downfield because guess what? Everyone is covering Bijan. And when he gets the
Yep.
lane and get to run it, he's going to run it. He is going to run it. And he's been producing amazing as of late. He didn't start out as like, everybody had him as a top back, but now he's
Mm-hmm.
definitely looking like a top back
Yep.
and a great pick going into the playoffs.
Agreed.
As we know, late in the season, a lot of teams start running, especially when they are playoff bound and things of that nature. So we could see Bijan getting a lot of goal line, 5 yards in, getting a lot of tuds in those week 14, 15, and 16 to kind of make up for him not getting as many tuds right now. Because I believe that the single goal line tud went to Algier
Yep.
yesterday afternoon. So that's a good pickup. Ramondre Stevenson, you got rid of him, right?
No.
Okay, so you kept him. Ramondre is so inconsistent. I'll be honest with you. Some weeks he's absolutely terrible. Yesterday afternoon, he had a great game. Uh, a hell
Great
of a catch.
catch.
I was gonna say a hell of a catch to send us into overtime. So I mean, again, he's kind of like matchup based, and if you're believing and if you're feeling Ramondre for the week. So
And even if
Bijan
I'm
for
not, I've got Josh Jacobs and Kareem Hunt still too. So
and, and you got D Hop. And listen, and just now, Patrick Mahomes has been adamant that we're gonna get D Hop involved. So I am
yep.
hoping for this be that explosive 30-point D Hop game, um, in which he goes off against Tampa Bay. Their secondary is very suspect, and a lot of points have been put up on that secondary. So we will see. Right now, I'm giving that trade a B. I think it's a B trade. Um, Definitely, I think you win getting Bijan Robinson. You did give up Brian Robinson Jr., which I'm starting to be high on. But Eckler is making some noise in that backfield too. So,
Mm-hmm.
that could be one of those things where long term Brian Robinson is seeing reduced production because of
Yep.
Eckler starting to come along.
And I really didn't want to trade Jamison Williams, but I have been a JMO fan for a few years just because, he went to Bama. I got a little Bama bias. Um, but if he's not injured, he's suspended.
Yeah,
So I need players that are going to play. And
right.
I don't know how much Jameson's going to be on the field, especially with that warrant against him. He's now on the commissioner's exemption list. Um,
He's
so
just he's just trouble, man. He's just trouble, unfortunately.
I
And
hate it.
and it's crazy because when you see him on the field, when he is playing, he gets that one or two dynamic plays where he don't touch the ball a lot, but when he get it, he's taking it to the house for six. Whether it's on a
Yeah,
reverse, whether it's a pass, whatever it is, he's definitely an asset. And I don't know exactly what he's going through or why do he feel like he should be causing this much trouble when he's a stud on the field. Um, who knows? But good player to get rid of, and we'll see if he even comes back the rest of this season.
I hope he does well. Because again, I root for every Alabama player that goes pro, minus anybody that goes to the Jets. So, um, um, And I mean, just looking at his stats, he's had it's either above 70 yards or he gets 9 yards or 4 yards. In
Right.
one game, he got -4 yards. So I mean,
Right.
like I, it's boom or bust, and I feel like Bijan is more consistent, and
Yeah.
That's why I traded the JMO for him. And Keon Coleman, look, Keon's been great. Don't get me wrong. I have enjoyed his production the last couple weeks. Wide receivers are a dime a dozen in the NFL. Like
Yes.
I
Week
can
to
I
week. Yes.
can I can replace Keon next draft with another guy coming out of college. I've already picked up Jalen Coker to potentially replace him because it seems like Bryce really likes Coker. He's led the team twice, 2 weeks in a row with targets, and with Deontay Johnson now out of that system, it's more that's more, you know, targets. And
Yeah.
then I got Pop. Adonai eventually will pop off. I picked up Sterling Shepard. Who knows?
The Colts are terrible, by the way.
Bro, they're so ass.
Just wanted to put that out there. But speaking of the Jets, let's talk about our Patriots. Drake May, you see him as quarterback of the future. What I want him to do is continue to learn, but continue to lose games because we are in the Travis Hunter sweepstakes. A generational athlete, generational talent, which I hope we can maintain that number one pick. But we look good. We look promising. I like that Christian Gonzalez. It kind of feels like it's still his rookie season because he did get injured, but
Yeah.
he's making some plays. He's getting beat on some plays. Defense got rid of some of the people that we felt like didn't want to be there and were headaches. So I'm excited what Mayo is doing in this era. Real quick before we get into fantasy, talk about our Patriots. What do you see? And have you rescinded uh, Drake May as being a bust or not being your favorite pick of ours in the last 5 years?
I still think we should have went Marvin Harrison Jr. and let Mac try to cook with
Despite
it.
Marvin Harrison Jr. not being as productive, correct?
Right. I still think that would have been a better option. But I shit talked Drake May a lot after we drafted him. I would like to rescind those comments. That play he made to send us into overtime, he juked 6 defenders out their shoes to just be able to put a ball that Ramondre could. And that was, I don't even think that was a
Right.
50-50 ball. That was like 70-30 defensive, and Ramondre still caught it.
And kept the legs moving. That's one good thing you want to see out of your rookie quarterback. Keep the legs moving, and his arm strength don't look that bad. Uh,
No.
so we definitely gonna see, and we're definitely gonna stay locked into our New England Patriots. Now, I'll be honest, guys. You got to roll the tape back, but we were terribly wrong about our New England Patriots and what their season record is going to be. However, our co-host Zach, who is not with us, Zach, we are missing you, buddy. Your Falcons
Yes,
is
sir.
on a roll, and we said it. We believed in the Falcons, right? We said the pieces were
Yep.
there. We believed in the Falcons. So salute, Zach, and we cannot wait to see you next Monday. So let's talk fantasy football. Let's talk major injuries, major injury news.
Whew. So many injuries, bro. Like even even my kicker got hurt yesterday, man. Like you got one job, how you get hurt? Um, Reichard is my kicker, and he's got some quad issues. We've still got the big injuries: Pacheco, Godwin. Um, at least on my team, Evans is out.
Stephon Diggs is out for the
Diggs
season.
is out for the season. Like it's just this honestly, this IR list is a who's who of like fantasy studs this year,
Right,
and that's
right.
crazy to me.
And we have Shaheed from the Saints out whole
Yep.
season. And it looks like Olave is probably going to miss another game. Dak
Boy,
is
that
out
looked
now.
bad. Dak is out. CD's hurt. Um, it, it's so crazy. Rashid's still on IR. We started the season JJ McCarthy going straight to IR. Um, I'm just kind of scrolling through here and looking at some of these players that are hurt. I mean, not everybody's super concerned with IDP.
And Hutchinson's out for the
Hutchins,
season.
that looked bad too. Owusu Kimura's out for the season. That looked bad, and it's not like, oh, that injury was kind of tough. Like
Right.
these are some gnarly looking injuries that are happening.
Yeah, no, most
Um, Debo week to week usually. Ayuk out for the season. McCaffrey just now finally starting to practice.
yeah,
Like these aren't replaceable people.
right.
These are
No,
big time names.
yeah, and we have Nico Collins about to come back. And really quickly, NFL trade deadline is tomorrow. We can see some moving pieces. After Bateman dropped a gang of passes, Deontay Johnson is now in Baltimore. Fantasy wise, do you think that's a good pickup?
Yeah, not maybe not to start with. It's going to take him a week or two to get adjusted into that system. But the more weapons that Lamar can get, the better his MVP candidacy is going to be. Which shout out to Derrick Henry, man. That man is a monster. I knew that Baltimore was going to end up using him like he should have been after that first game. People were
Right.
worried, but nah, Derrick Henry's that is one man I would not want to meet in an Oklahoma drill. I'd just move to the side and let him go. You have it.
And Derrick Henry is on his way to possibly 2,000 rushing yards after people thought he was washed in Tennessee.
Yep.
So, you know, and right now, I'll be honest, if right now, if for the foreseeable future, it looks like Lamar Jackson is on his way to, what's this, to be a third MVP?
I think it's his fourth.
Really? He's won two. Yeah, let's look that up.
I'm looking it up.
That'd be crazy.
I'm dumb. It would be his third. He won it in 19 and last year.
Okay. So that'll be his third MVP. So it looks like he's there. So talk to me about fantasy football. Who's still on the waiver wire that you would consider picking up at this time of the season?
I have a claim in for Jermaine Burton, and I hate it. um,
Jermaine?
yeah, I, I Higgins is up in the air, and Higgins is gone next year. So I mean, they're gonna have to have a two.
Yeah.
It could be Burton. I don't if he can get his mind right. Honestly, my free agent pool is not good because we're super deep. Like my top four pickups, um, or I guess top four best players available are Stafford, Flacco, Winston, and Rudolph.
Okay.
Like, though nobody want any of them. Stafford, I could see you making a case for now that his receiving core is healthy, but I don't know. I There's a lot of good players on other like free agent lists. It's just a shame that there's not any on mine because I would love a good pickup right now, especially in the receiving area. Like, because I got nothing.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Um, so let me just scroll here. Let me take a look at my league's free agent list. Um, at QB here, we have Daniel Jones, Flacco, Carr, Bo Nix is still available, Russell Wilson, and Drake May and Bryce Young is still there. Wide receiver, let's see. We have Wandale Robinson, Pops Douglas, uh,
Uh,
Robinson from the Rams, who had a great game last night, right?
yeah, he did.
He ended up giving you 27 points. Slayton, uh, Gabe Davis, Ray McLeod is still here. Cooks, Ricky Parasol. Um, Not really much. It's slim pickings in my league. Tajay Spears, Braylon Allen, Zach Moss, Tyler Algier. These guys are still on the free agent list. So it's slim pickings. We're getting into week 9. If you don't have the jewels and gems from the free agent list, if you don't have that roster ready, getting ready to go to make that playoff push, I don't know what to tell you. You need at least about 7 to 8 games to be in the playoff, a lower seed in the playoffs, just depending on how many spots is available for the playoffs. You guys get those rosters together, get those last minute trades together. I know my trade deadline is coming up in my league on Saturday. I'm looking to make a trade for a big time receiver. We'll see how that goes. Again, with wide receiver, I don't want to give up too much just because, again, like you say, week to week with wide receiver, it's kind of like this guy is performing, this guy's performing. It's not really that one guy or that group of 5 or 6 guys where you're like, okay, this is one of the guys I should be targeting. I mean, again, it remains to be seen. But what we want to do is we want to go ahead and take an early look into next week. How are we setting our rosters? What are we looking at? And there's a bye next week. Next week, Packers is on a bye. So I don't have no Jordan Love next week. My backup is Kirk Cousins. So hopefully he has one of those 60-point games or one of those 40-point games.
It's against New Orleans, so that's actually
Oh, let's go. And they may
he,
trade Marshawn Lattimore. So
yep, he may eat.
let's go.
Which if he eats, that means Bijan's gonna eat. So I'm here for it. Let's get 40 apiece from both of them, right?
Right.
Um,
Take us off. What's your next week lineups going to be looking like?
I mean, it pretty much the only difference is I got to plug in either Mark Andrews or Pop Douglas in my flex spot because, no, because Bowers is on a bye and Josh Jacobs is on a bye. So I plugged in Bijan at my running back. I plugged in Demario Douglas at the flex spot and then put Mark Andrews at tight end. In terms of the quarterback matchup, I don't have Geno next week. So it's either Baker versus San Francisco, which that sounds awful, or Tua versus the Rams, which I mean, I could see that being good. Or if I'm really, really, really just feeling it, Bryce Young versus the Giants. But I'm not feeling that.
Bryce Young could eat next week.
He could. He's looked a lot better in the 2 games that he's been back. Um, I mean, granted, he's 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but he's looking like he's finally making good decisions, and that's what I'm sure they've been wanting to see from him. So I don't know. I think it was a confidence issue. I think he might have got that a little bit situated. He saw what Dalton could do in the system, and I think it made him a little less nervous because Bro was running for his life. Like
Yeah.
he was going
Trying
to
to
get
make
murdered out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe he might be a little bit fixed. I hope he is. I wish Bryce nothing but the best because, I mean, dude was a Heisman Trophy winner in college. It's not like he doesn't know how to play football.
I agree. I agree. Yes, and he will get it. And check downs are your friends. And if you have a shot, taking it. And if not, take what you can get and
Eat
what
it.
the
Yep.
is given. Yeah, no, definitely.
Just throw it
Um,
to Chuba Hubbard. That's all I need you to do. Just throw it to Chuba Hubbard.
basically. So what else you got for that lineup?
We're running. We're still running with D Hop. We're running with Devontae Smith. I got Jalen Coker plugged in, and I've got Jalen Tolbert. I really like Jalen's. Apparently, I wish I could get Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle. Um, Kareem Hunt's plugged in. Ramondre's plugged in. Bijan is a definite plug. And then in terms of defense, I got Brian Branch playing, who got kicked out of the game yesterday for which I think was a little unnecessary on the referee's parts. And then, he got hit with a couple penalties on the way out for telling him what he thought about it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I I just think that they called that kick out too early. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. And then I got N'Kobe Dean plugged in after a very, very good interception against Jacksonville last night. Antoine Winfield's plugged in. Always plug him in. Um, Safety, I'm always torn between Minka Fitzpatrick and Jalen Petrie. Probably going to roll with Petrie because he had a really good game, and Detroit's going to throw the ball a lot, so the safeties are going to get a lot of work. I got our boy Keon White in at D line, Nick Bosa in at D line, and then Levante David and Ivan Pace Jr. in at linebacker.
Okay. Okay, those are good setups. And if anybody's been playing in the IDP league, you do know that Brian Branch is one of the better players when it comes to IDP league. So you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. So next week for me, I'm gonna kick it off. I have Kirk Cousins, so I'm gonna be utilizing Kirk Cousins. Uh, Wide receiver here, I'm probably going to have to roll with D Hop and Jordan Addison again.
Okay.
Just because Olave is out. I have Bijan. I have Saquon. Tight end, I will see a return of George Kittle, who was out.
Hey,
I picked up Conklin in the bye week, and Conklin was pure shit. Flex next week, I have Bucky Irvin and Rashad White, so it will be one of those two in the flex.
nice.
I put Keon Coleman in last night. He didn't do anything for me. 6 points. That was about it. Kicker. I think I'm going to roll with Butker still. I think I'm going to roll with Kansas City defense. And of course, individual defensive players. I spam Monday night in case I'm in need of points. So I typically spam those players. And I'm looking forward to my team having a great week. I'm looking to close this week out to be 5-3-1. Which would put me comfortably in a seat in a spot for the playoffs. With a lot of games left to play, by the way, but 5 wins, you're more than halfway there when it comes to the playoffs. So I am definitely looking forward to that. And again, when it comes to Triple Coverage Podcast, we will be here weekly for you. And our Thanksgiving show is going to be explosive because we love Thanksgiving games. There's nothing like eating, and there's nothing like football on Thanksgiving. And right now, we're about to get ready to sign off because we are tapping into the Kansas City Chiefs versus Tampa Bay, which is surprisingly should be a good game. Tampa Bay finds a way to light it up and get down the field. Kansas City defense has been playing lights out this year, so we're going to see. And they're looking to add Marshawn Lattimore. Before we go ahead and sign off, Eric, tell me where they can find us, and also give me some wild card predictions going into next week, fantasy football. That fantasy football players and team owners should know.
DK Metcalf is going to be a New England Patriot.
Whoa! Wait,
I've seen so many rumors about it, and I don't know. Like, I don't think that it's gonna transpire at all. But I think we would. Wouldn't it be great to just go ahead and make a move for a number one, and just call it a day, and then get like D Higgins in the offseason? Like, wouldn't it be great?
that'd be great, but DK?
I don't. He's kind of fallen out of favor up in Seattle. I think they seem to like Smith and Jigba and Lockett still.
And we could have actually drafted DK. We could have drafted DK.
We
And
could have drafted every good receiver that's in the league right now, but we decided not to
we passed on DK. I don't know why, but we did. We passed on DK.
because we wanted Tyquan Thornton. Clearly, that face is the face that I made when we passed up on some of these guys. But you can find us on the Twitters at 3CoverPod. I'm trying to get more active over there with us taking that little brief hiatus due to everybody having some personal stuff going on. I kind of let it fall to the wayside, but we're still there. We're still working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always find us on the Spotify, on wherever you get your podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe. We love interacting. Send us questions. Send us roster ideas. Let us know what you guys are doing so we can tap in with y'all because y'all tap in with us. So it's only right. If you need advice, if you want to say, hey, my commissioner just forced this trade through. Is this a good trade? Is
Yeah,
this weird? Let us know. Tap in.
yeah,
We'll be more
definitely.
than happy to give opinions. Um, but you can find me right now watching Kansas City and Tampa and the Boston Atlanta game because
Yes.
I it's basketball season too, and I got to lock in on this championship repeat.
Yeah, no, most definitely. We are looking for the Celtics to repeat. And again, guys, the triple coverage fantasy podcast, lock in with us. And you know, sometimes with podcasting, life gets in the way, but we are here for you as much as possible. And we thank you guys for your continued support, continued views. And again, tap in with us. Let us know weekly where you want to go with certain players, certain positions, and what are you thinking long term for your rosters, getting ready for the road to playoffs. And for the Triple Coverage Fantasy Podcast, powered by Suplex Dinner Club, my name is Brad. That's Eric, and we are out for the evening. Peace.
Peace. Oh no! 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 No!
What?
Okay. Whew. On that sack, Baker immediately went to his knee, but he got up. Okay. I was about to throw my whole fantasy team in the trash can.